Okay, we are here again with another Rebel Loop chat. I go woo, kind of presenter at the beginning, but here we are, a Rebel Loop chat with Bob Chambers, a.k.a. Social Recluse, with the company 1010 Printing in Glasgow as well. So thanks for coming on, Bob.
No bother, Trevor. Social Recluse, kind of. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's the name I go with. I kind of pulled that out of the sky 2004.
Did you pull it out of the sky? Because what a name and what a wee logo you've got when I seen you in the phone and social. I love that, Social Recluse, you know.
Yeah, I think we were looking for a name and we just couldn't get a name. At that time I was doing this with two other people and we couldn't get a name, and we tried, we had 100 names and we narrowed it down, and it was something like Simeon something, and we picked, and I phoned up Stevie that night saying I don't like it, and he says, but we've kind of went through stage by stage to get to this name, and he says, if you come up with something better, we'll go with that. And literally, Social Recluse just
came out your mouth as soon as you got put under pressure.
Yeah, and that was it. And I thought, wow, that's a keeper.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, what do you call that in English? Whatever. When there's two, it's a.
Kind of. That weirdly, that's what I was looking for. Something that was taking two words that contradict each other and putting them together.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I think there actually are people who are called social recluses.
Yeah. Oh, right,
and I think something. No, I'm not getting into star signs and shit like that. But I'm a Gemini, and I definitely think I've got split personality.
Right. Okay.
So I'm social, and I like a bit of kind of pulling the curtains.
Okay, pulling the curtains. Love that. Pulling the curtains. Just having a weekend in the dark.
Yeah, in the dark.
So if we're going to talk about star signs, I'm a Pisces. So allegedly I'm Pisces. I am an ultra extrovert. So my missus tells me as well. What I take from that is that I can't stop talking. So good.
There you go.
Do this kind of stuff. But you know,
I'm shy, but once I start, I'm in.
And I love that. I used to know a guy who used to say, start it all the time, but I'm shy and all that. And he just done amazing with people.
I still think I'm proper shy.
Being open and sharing a bit of vulnerability then, Bob, I think. Yeah. Okay, so that's really appreciate coming on this and doing this as well for that. Okay, so let's talk about a wee bit here then. Tell us a bit about really interesting artists and people's backgrounds and people who work in creative industries or whatever, right? Of their background and how they're trained formally and informally. So how did you get trained? Where did you come from? What was your background?
I generally don't think I am trained. I always say this, I'm kind of making it up as I go along. And I like that. You know, I didn't get any qualifications at college. I left 6 months early. I was at college, building and printing college, straight from school, just learning graphic design. I don't think I learned anything at college. I don't think they taught me anything at college. I think all they done was really kind of plug me in, kind of plug my interest in. Because I remember walking down the Buchanan Street one day and just noticing all the signage. And I thought, right, okay, I'm in. But training, zero, kind of done it myself.
Yeah.
And again, I'm still waiting on somebody telling me whether I'm doing it right or doing it wrong.
Okay. Right. Well, I'm going to tell you, I think you're doing it right, so that's good. Cheers. So, I mean, I love the way, you talk about graphic design and stuff like that, and then you said signs, right? So, graphically, there's a lot of your stuff, there's a lot of words mixed in with your designs and stuff like that. So, tell us about that.
My first job was working in a signage place in Clydebank.
All right,
and
go.
Back then, there wasn't any big printers. No, everything was cut by vinyl. So to do something that was 3 colours was more expensive than something that was 2 colours. Yeah. So literally, your design came down to budget, what the customer, what the client could afford. And it was my job to kind of come up with a logo, do a bit of design work which went on the side of a van and a lorry or whatever. I've had 8 lorries. So that's how, again, my first day at work, they asked me to come in for college, seen my CV. I had no idea how to even switch the Mac on, and I sat there for maybe 30 minutes looking at myself.
Figured out where the button was on the back. I can't remember the on the back.
The button was on the back, and I could ask the girl to turn it on for me. And then the sales guy came in and said to me, "Do you know what you're doing?" I said, "No." And he says, "Right, I'm only going to show you this once." And he sat with me for about an hour, showed me a couple of things in Adobe Illustrator, and every night I stayed late and just picked it up.
Yeah, I love that. Every night you stayed late. I remember people used to say to me, how do you get into the industry you're in, creative industries? And I got this off someone else actually showed me when I was in London. They said, you do 78 hours a week. And I was like, 70 hours a week? And he goes, you're doing it in your own time.
On time, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, I used to stay late, maybe 7 o'clock. Sometimes I was going in at the weekends because I've got access to a computer and just mess about, just kind of do fun shit, really. That was it.
Access to kit, isn't it? And then exploiting the hell of it.
I think I bought a Mac maybe when I was about 20, 21. Best thing I ever done.
Yeah.
Because I've picked up Photoshop and Illustrator. I really, really wanted out of that job. Clydebank was too far away from me.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, maybe about 1996, 1997, and it felt like 1982.
You had to get 2 buses together.
2 trains. It took me 2 hours to get there.
2 hours to get
to Clydebank, and it was like getting back in time, maybe about 30 years.
Yeah, next to the singer factory.
It was crazy.
That's cool.
But no, then you were getting up to Yoker or Clydebank to get the train home. And it was 2 trains. Sometimes you weren't getting home about 10 at night.
Yeah. Can you remember one of your first jobs or some signage that you made first? Anything pop out at you?
Like it was loads of stuff I was doing, but the first kind of, I remember the boss man of this company who they deal with concerts.
Yeah.
And they were called Stardust Logistics. The signage is shit.
Sounds good, but
it was the boss that was phoning me. We never went through the sales guys. He came straight to me and he said, listen, I want you to redesign our fleet. And I think it was a Phoenix, but we got reflective vinyl on the back and things like that. And I always remember him saying to me, no, you're into your music. I think they were for Sheffield, you're into your music. There's two brothers in a band coming through from Manchester, pay attention, type of thing. So I think that was, I think just a couple of months later, that Oasis kind of, definitely maybe released or something like
that. Wow.
And that was them, so that was like, thanks for the heads up.
That's a big connection, isn't it?
That was just, I think Stardust took their equipment up and down the UK. Yeah, that was all. So any time I was going to a concert, back in the day, and you would see Stardust Logistics, I would always get a kind of,
were you interested in it?
Yeah, I had a hand in that.
That's cool. I like that.
And I was only a kid back then. I was maybe about 17, 18 or something.
Aye. So it is notice the details and just go with your gut when someone does something like that.
As I say, looking back on it now, the signage delivery was shit.
It's just laugh you say it, but like,
I don't think they've changed much in 30 years.
That's excellent. I love that. Yeah, always remember your first pieces of work or some stuff when it comes through, and it is like something that hooks you into it. Like you say, your college hooked you into the design, or at least seeing it and then doing a place, some gear chance, and then getting into it, and then the music connection.
Yeah, it's like back then, probably when I was like 20, 21 doing design, it was just a job. It wasn't a kind of passion or anything like that. It was a job. It got me out to the weekend, it bought me clothes, took me on holidays. That was it. I probably didn't really start getting deep into it till I was maybe about 30.
So, right, okay.
But that 10 years, decade, I was still doing homers for people, which I think kind of let me do my own designs rather than the company's designs, and let me kind of talk to real people.
Develop your style.
So that was all happening.
Homers, I love that.
In the back.
They call it freelance these days, isn't it?
Homers, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Love that, innit? I love that. I remember doing homers.
Yeah.
Well, right, so bring it on to that, homers, and then, so like, tell us about growing up in Glasgow then, right? And your inspirations. And I mean, I know a wee bird, they told me you played football good when you were younger, so it's all of that. So I suppose maybe you didn't even think of another career growing up in Glasgow? Just into...
I was just outside Motherwell, so you're 30 minutes, 30 minutes in the train for Glasgow. I was not bad at football at school. I got picked up with Celtic when I was about 15, and I was playing with the boys club for like 2 years. Sometimes, you were getting the train, the bus into Glasgow at that age, wearing your Celtic blazer and that, and it was pretty scary at times.
Right, okay, I thought you were going to say cool, but scary.
No, it was scary. It's really, really scary. Getting home Saturday nights and things like that, depending on who else was playing in the city, it could have been scary.
Right, wearing your badge and that's such a big thing. Even back then, it was more. more of a deal, eh?
I think looking back, Celtic was too big for me. I was overwhelmed by it all. I wasn't playing at my best. Just didn't really. Probably learned a lot. Done all right, but there was guys there who I'm still friends with who really, really wanted it. And that just wasn't my kind of personality. After Celtic, I think I went to Hamilton Accies, and I got asked to sign at Hamilton Accies. The gaffer there was a guy called John Park.
Well,
he asked to sign me, and I remember walking into the room. My mum and dad were in the car. They'd asked my mum and dad to come over, and when they asked to sign me, I walked into the room wanting to be a footballer, and just something in my head said no. I knocked it back, and I went to design college instead.
Good.
And said to them, I'm going to go to design college, and that was the decision I made literally on the spot. I came out the room that we were in, went back into my mum and dad's car. My mum and dad said, what do they want? And I said, they wanted to sign me. And I knocked it back, and my mum literally battered me with the umbrella, called me all the bastards and whatnot, because ever since I was knee high, all I wanted to do was play football.
Buying your football boots and shin pads every week.
She, again, back then in the 90s, they didn't nobody understood what you're going to do after school. I'm going to go to design college. If you weren't a plumber, a brickie, or a joiner, no, everybody thought you were weird.
I know, I was the same, because I wanted to go to art school and all that, but I played football as well. I played for St Mirren, Kilmarnock, St Mirren, beginning when Drew Jarvie was there, and Alec Miller. Alec Miller, I think, told me that I couldn't run fast enough eventually, and then for some weird reason, Chelsea picked up on me, and I went down to Chelsea when Pat Nevin was there, David Speedy, all of these people. And I felt the same thing, by the way, what you talk about. And I've not really talked too much about this either. I felt they were so big. It was like overwhelming as well. It was like, wow, man, this is next level. So yeah, it could be overwhelming. And I didn't want to finish playing football. I wanted to go to art school. So,
Yeah, no, again, I didn't have a clue about kind of doing design or anything like that. My teacher, one of my teachers showed an interest in me, and she just said, I think you'd make a good designer. And she brought me in a book which was like record covers since the 1950s to the 1990s.
Oh wow!
And I took it home, and I came back into school a few days later going, I want to do that.
Record covers are cool.
Day
for design. So like, talk about influences and inspirations of like that, then covers or stuff. Because I can see some. No, I can't see actual. I don't see it really in your work, but obviously the link between when I started talking to you about music, football, and culture. It's like,
I think they're kind of the clothes, the football, the music, everything kind of joined up. When I was growing up, I think like I had an older brother who to me was the coolest guy on the planet. He was a mod parker, and he had good clothes, beautiful girlfriends, just cool, just really cool.
It's cool.
And
do you have a scooter?
I had a scooter, so Vespas, all that stuff.
Doesn't get any better.
That's kind of just stuck with me. Played the drums, so all that just kind of stuck with me. And he had a cracking record collection. And I used to just go and put on he told me, touch your records and you're dead. So I used to go up after school.
Heard that before.
Just put the records on, sitting, glaring, examining the sleeves, every corner of it, the typefaces, the words, the colours. Just sitting there looking at these kind of 12-inch records and putting the music on, sitting there listening to it. And then 2 minutes before he came in for work, everyone would be put back nicely. And then I'd do that day in, day out.
Right, I hope he's not watching this podcast.
He's dead, mate. So
wow, bad idea. Maybe from somewhere
else.
You'll get away with it then.
Yeah, I think at the same time, I think that was my kind of first steps into doing what I do, and then joining the dots, going, I want to design record covers. The only sad thing is when I started my career doing designs, vinyl went out and CDs. CDs and MP3s started coming in.
And it's the thing about vinyl you know, but the lovely connection with your brother, but you know, he's got all that vinyl, man. He bought it and you went through it and probably but when you open vinyl, there's this insight about, you know, the story of the record, maybe like photographs on the sleeve and all of that of people recording this stuff.
Well, there was
just don't get that anymore.
Most of the records he had were like the jam, early jam stuff, and weirdly, maybe about a year ago, 2 years ago, I got talking to the designer, a guy called Bill Smith, who done all the jam albums, a guy from London, and again, talking to him was a big deal for me, just kind of talking to this guy who was part of my childhood, and kind of getting off Bill, you know, it was like he was kind of making it up as he went along. You know, he was just told off the record company, you're doing this today, Tuesday, they're turning up. And I think at one of the albums, Paul Weller's got a jumper on with some arrows on it, and Bill actually put that on electrical tape. He had to kind of think on his feet. So I think you need to do that. I think sitting around kind of scratching your chin with design isn't really me, you know. It's you think on your feet and you make it happen. You think on your feet and you make it happen by making mistakes and trying things out. Hey, who are the guys? I keep beginning Gnosis, whoever who done the Pink Floyd covers and that. The name of that company. I watched the documentary a while back, and they just literally said it was a total shit show. They were just making stuff up as they went along, cutting things out and just experimenting, and they don't know how they managed to pull it off half the time. Yeah. So you hear this all the time, eh? It's amazing, but I think you have to still be talented, you know, to do this. I think you need to kind of be aware and see the opportunity and actually go with your instinct. Yeah. Gut. I'm big into that, going with the gut and instinct. Right? Yeah. So that goes on to your style, right? So developing your style, whatever your style, you feel your style is, you know, tell us about that journey then, you know, on now. Again, there's maybe, if I had to look back on it, there's kind of dots getting joined somewhere along the way. I don't know if I've got a style. I've got a kind of, maybe a way of doing things, which is kind of less is more. I feel as if I have to use Photoshop on anything, the design's not right. You know, like, design's all to me about kind of shape, form, space. What do you use the most? Is it a tool? I know it's not really about a tool, it's your brain. Probably my brain, but like probably still Adobe Illustrator. It's Illustrator, and more into kind of InDesign and things like that. But I very rarely use Photoshop. I try and stay away from it because I want everything to be layered and whatnot, but for me it's more about that space and how you occupy the space. So tell us about inspirations with like some of the Oasis stuff, some of the Maradona stuff, some of the stuff we've got here. Creef. I would probably say probably one of the first bands I got into was New Order. And Peter Saville was the guy that designed all the stuff from New Order, and I was kind of blown away with not having the name of the band, not having the photograph of the band on the record. Yeah, covers were cool. I just thought, Joy Division, New Order, I just thought, that's, everything's understated. Yeah, that's the way to go. So you kind of pull in Peter Saville, pull in Helvetica. So when I was working in Clydebank in the signage company. Who's Helvetica? Is he a designer? No, Helvetica's the font. Yeah, that's cool. And back then there was a CD you got, and it had maybe, I don't know, 600 fonts on it or something, and Letraset book. And back then I literally had to memorise the Letraset book. Yeah, that's cool. Because people would bring in a compliment slip, a letterhead, business card, and go, that's my logo. Yeah. They didn't know it was Garamond or anything, you know, so that's Roman. You had to kind of pick it up and go match it, almost identical, and redraw the logos and things like that. So that got me kind of started on the roads of typefaces. Yeah. And the one I always kind of went back to was Helvetica. And again, it's probably the one that you see the most anywhere you go in the world, Times Square in New York, down to London, just how versatile Helvetica can be. Am I right? I don't know. I'm not a font whisperer, what you are, but I do hear, and being dyslexic myself, and I know you might be as well, Bob, Helvetica allegedly
is one of the easiest fonts to read.
Probably the easiest fonts to read. Again, I think it's down to the space between the letters.
Right. Okay.
Which makes it easier to read.
Easier.
Yeah.
And then Helvetica have a set standard for that or something?
It's changed now. They just changed them. I can't remember. It used to have Helvetica New.
Yeah.
I think it's called Helvetica Now.
Yeah.
Which is updated because everything's on your phone, big screens and things like that now. So they just updated it there. The new kind of typefaces and new fonts. But it's just an interesting backstory going back to like Bauhaus and Swiss design and different things like that, and how you look at the kind of New York subway and the London Underground and all that. I don't think any of the two fonts are Helvetica, but kind of the sans serif fonts, and it's just that journey. It's just making things look cool. Do you know what I mean? So it's just pulling all that in, and as I say, some of the projects I do for myself, it's how can I make the same thing look different using the same ingredients.
Yep, so keep it simple. Yeah. I love that. Before people fall asleep talking about fonts and all that, because it's like, man, be so technical. You see people, we can talk about it all day, but a lot of people just go like, what are they?
There was somebody came into the shop years ago and they started talking about typefaces and fonts to me, and it was like, it's so good, man, because I was like, where have you came from?
Yeah, I meet these guys. I didn't meet them, like Dave Ashby, do you know as well?
Yeah.
A font guy. There's quite a few guys I know. Fonts head Justin who works in here does stuff. He's a major font whisperer, man. You can just tell you what it is. Just stuff like
that. The right font, makes whatever it is you think.
And I feel I know I've got a good designer working with a good designer when they get really excited about fonts. I'm going, oh right, this is a good designer.
Just to kind of tail off on it, you probably get 5 favourites and you stick to them.
Right,
that's it.
Okay, I like that.
No, it's like fonts are like jeans.
Yeah, and favourite football players.
Yeah.
All right. So do you match something? So let's say Johan here, like if he was a font, what font would it be?
Everybody's Helvetica, mate. Everybody's Helvetica.
Love that.
I'm not getting into kind of Bandonis and shit like that. Everybody's Helvetica.
Yeah, geniuses of top people are Helvetica. I love that. That's cool. Right, so let's talk about business then and that, right? So you go through design, you go through your style, you spend 10 years, you become like 10,000 hours, people talk about elite stuff, you become elite, right? How do you develop that skill set into a business and becoming commercial? How do you navigate that?
I think it was an accident. I think it was a mistake, really. I ended up working at the Daily Record for like 10 years, and I got married, I had a kid, and I took the job for the money. I jumped in, 4 feet, they were double my wage, and I jumped in and I says, I'll have some of that. And I knew at the same time, I'll keep my freelance homers kind of moving behind the scenes. And I think it was maybe around about the year 2000 that I decided I'm going to design a T-shirt. And I'd done a T-shirt for going away on holiday. Yeah. And it was one of the kind of iron-on designs. Transfer things. Yeah, iron-on.
Did you buy it in a pack online?
I did. I think it was out of W.H. Smith's or whatever it was at the time. Bought it, designed it, printed it out, ironed it on, and then by the time I was coming back for holiday, the transfer was falling off,
peeling off,
and I'm thinking that's a bit shit. So I was thinking, how do I get my designs onto T-shirts? And it was screen printing. And weirdly enough, when they were doing screen printing at college, I literally took the day off, stayed in my bed, because I thought it's going to be a waste of time. When am I ever going to need to? Computers are the things. Teach me how to use a Mac. Yeah. Don't teach me these old-fashioned these big printers were coming in and printing everything digital. Yeah. When are you going to need to learn to screen print? Fast forward, 8-9 years, and I'm sitting with my hand up, look, I need to learn to screen print. Yeah. And done a course at Trongate 103.
Yeah, so is that Print Studios?
Print Studios, yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I've filmed in there doing that, people doing that. You've done that course?
Done it in there. Roz taught me how to print.
They seem really nice, really good.
Cracking, yeah. Beautiful place, great space. Yeah. And I kind of got the science of how to make a screen, how to expose a screen, and just the technique of how to print. But again, all the stuff that I was doing was all flat colours, really kind of basic designs, nothing fancy. And then I would
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Simple. And I always like going from designing magazines, designing kind of vehicles. I thought, right, let's see if we can design T-shirts.
Yeah.
And that kind of just took off a little bit. I bumped into an old friend and his girlfriend, and they'd set up a market in Glasgow called Shake a Meal, which was above Argyle Chambers or Argyle Arcade.
Right.
Right at the top floor. So you were on the roof there, and they had a market in there. Probably never really made any money. Maybe made about £200 over 2 years. Selling T-shirts. But I just thought, this is cool. I'm making T-shirts, I'm printing T-shirts, and now I'm actually selling T-shirts.
Yeah.
All under the name of Social Recluse. So that got me thinking, let's design more T-shirts. And I bought a carousel.
Yeah.
My mum bought me a carousel, and I kind of off I went printing my own T-shirts. And then somebody came in and go, I've got 50 T-shirts needing printed, I've got 100 T-shirts, any chance you could print them for me? And I thought, well, there's a market here for printing other people's work.
Yeah.
It doesn't all need to be mine. And that was it. So I think it was a bit of an accident.
Off and running. Is there any other mindset you change when you print on a T-shirt? I always thought about this, rather than printing a poster, for body shape and all of that, where you put things and all that kind of stuff.
Designing a poster and designing a T-shirt, it's two different things.
Yeah.
Like designing if you couldn't really put the same design, like for like, on a poster as on a T-shirt. It's just too square. Play about with it. Your body moves. You need to kind of take that into consideration. Take into consideration the frame, which is your kind of torso, your colour of your T-shirt. Use that as a colour. And again, I like to print stuff on the back as well.
I was going to say that lots of people print in the back. What is that? Is that logo thing and print in the back? So is it?
I think it's just a style. I've done it for 20 years, printing on the back, because again, what I'm wearing the T-shirts at is either a gig or a football game.
Yeah.
And if I'm standing behind you at a gig or a football game and you've got something interesting on while everybody's looking forward, I'm probably going to Google whatever you're wearing. But if everybody's got nothing printed on the back, you can't tell what's on the front. You leave that to kind of chance. So printing both sides, you're kind of getting the best of it.
I've never really asked anybody why that is, but I've just noticed over the years it's flipped, because the mid-90s, early 90s, it was all in the front. It was really in your face. And
I remember having some kind of Ocean Pacific jumpers and T-shirts and things like that when I was a kid, and they were always the OP on here, and the back was kind of like your Californian Surfer and things. Yeah,
all the surfy stuff. Silver, was it something that brand Silver with the wee waves? Used to have all the stuff on the back, really elaborate designs on the back, but Quicksilver used to have that, as well.
But it's something I've always done. It's like probably gig T-shirts I've always printed on the front and the back ever since gig T-shirts became a thing. And that's just, again, it's maybe part of that style that I've got. I don't know. But I like printing stuff on the front and the back. And fashion's exploded, isn't it, really, over the last 10 years? And so 20 years, really, but 10 years. Yeah. Fashion's big now, isn't it? Yeah, again, like, if my brother was sitting here, he would probably say, it's always been, he's 10 years older than me. And he was a mod, so he'd be right into stuff. So he was into his clothes. He was getting stuff sent off for Carnaby Street in the 1980s. So he knew the kind of value of looking smart. Yeah, looking sharp. And looking cool. Yeah. And I think, I don't know, I just think that you've got it or you've not. Do you know what I mean? There is a sense of style there. And again, for me, less is more. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I do like that. Less is more with the style. I'm not sure. I'm not even going to comment on my style. My style kind of changes. I'm kind of jeans and a T-shirt guy. I'm a kind of jeans and a T-shirt. I am locked into. I'm a brand baby. I get locked into it from the old days. Adidas. I think playing football, the boots. I'm locked into Adidas. It's a really good, iconic brand, and I can't get away from it. So, but I do like mixing my brands up. Yeah, I no, like probably since watching the 1982 World Cup, 84 European Championships. Yeah. You kind of had Platini in that cool French top. Yeah. And then you're looking at teams like Czechoslovakia and Poland with the cool kind of retro they weren't retro then, they were kind of modern. Adidas tracksuits with the kind of just red with white stripes down them, and you're thinking, I'll have some of that. Yeah, that's cool to me. That looks great.
It's very clean. It's very clean lines, isn't it? That's Adidas has moved towards.
Yeah,
when they have all this, remember I had the Bob Marley ones were multicolours and the big when they had the leaf. Really big on the front, but they moved away.
I think even the tennis stuff with kind of Ivan Lendl and all that was maybe too busy for me. I just like stuff that's really kind of simple. They're talking about football boots. I remember I got a pair of Copa Mundials and I was playing over in America, 1990. Can't remember. I think I paid $50 for them or something, and never looked back. They were the boots.
Mundial, I've got 2 sets in my cupboard. They're the only set I went.
The only boots I wore after that. Adidas trainers. Again, I've kind of uncovered this kind of collectors. I went down to Lacey's Out in Liverpool about 10 years ago to do a stall there, and opened the door and there's 2,000, 3,000 people all in. They're all collectors. I used to kind of run my trainers into the ground and then throw them out, but most people I know now who have been collecting forever, really, collecting for the last 30 odd years.
Yeah, I find it remarkable. We've done some photographs with some Stone Island stuff a couple of months ago, looking back at all the retro stuff that kids are wearing these days with Adidas, Fila, all of this stuff is still so relevant, or even more relevant now. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, really. I've always kind of thought that Adidas are probably the biggest fashion brand. No, not your Gucci's and all the rest of them. To me, it's but again, it's like Helvetica. It's so versatile.
Yeah. Do you think, and has this even happened? Louis Vuitton, Gucci, or whoever would do a collab with Adidas.
I think
Nike.
Done it. Yeah, I think Gucci done it last year.
Right, did it go?
Yeah, I think again a lot. Like Supreme, Nike, and all that were doing kind of collabs, like you were talking about. The kind of big brands with the production companies and all that. People are doing a lot more collabs. Wales Bonner, Adidas stuff and things like that. It's all pretty cool. So yeah, but as I say, I just like the simple stuff. I like the old kind of school stuff. And I think it takes you back to an age when you probably were a little bit wet behind the ears and a bit innocent. And it was just, you were out every night playing with your pals, and it just takes you back to that kind of feel-good factor.
Yeah, and I mean, Adidas, it was still cool to have Adidas trainers and stuff there, but it's not iconic, is it?
Again, I remember...
But obviously it has to take time.
Yeah, I remember kind of getting out in the 90s and everybody had a pair of trousers, a pair of shoes and a shirt on type of thing, and you looked flatter.
Well, it's kind of more, but stay pressed.
I kind of felt sometimes you looked a bit like a dick, when really all we want to do is put on a pair of Levi's, a pair of Gazelle, and a t-shirt.
I liked it for playing football, and when you played for a team, you'd get a trackie. And that's when I started wearing trackies. Playing football, you'd wear a trackie in downtime all the time. Yeah. So I got one of the old Scotland tracksuits. One of the early 90s one was silky with red on it. With the red on the collar. Yeah. That it's dark blue. It's amazing. Yeah. Whatever.
I think Scotland have kind of their strips are now made by Adidas, and you're kind of crying out just to do something that's really, really simple. The first season they done the Scotland top with Adidas, they had the big kind of badge in the middle, big quilted badge, and you're like, just let the fabric do the talking.
Have you done any special T-shirts for the release coming up?
Just day ones. That will be John McGinn one.
Tell us a wee bit about then. And
this is again. Remember, you were a kid and you were trying to aim a football, and it was no ball games.
No ball games. A sign everywhere.
No ball games allowed, and you kind of. Some people would kind of score it out, and you just play anyway. Some nosy neighbour would phone the police on you. I've come out. We had a guy that used to come out and just stick a knife in the ball.
Oh yeah, we had that.
Some arsehole.
You'd always have a ball would go over the garage into one of garden, and there was always one garden that you knew it was going to stab your volley.
So that's just a kind of throwback to. I hate that word throwback, but that's just a kind of getting back to the day when you were a wee guy. Lately, I get interested in New York Cosmos when I was a boy for Pelé. So then you came across Beckenbauer's and things like that, and like I think Cruyff played over there. It was like an all-star type of league. And I get more interested in kind of Pele, Cosmos, and then the Brazil team of 70. And it just kind of, it was more retro back then. So I think that kind of always stuck with me.
You can't, but for me, we've all got flashes in our mind. You can't get more retro than Socrates and the Brazilian team of that time. Going off, I think, was it Socrates or who was it used to come off and smoke side of the pitch?
Probably him, yeah.
Smoke the side of the pitch. That.
He was a dog.
I think I seen it in an interview. He would go, when they would go, they'd have to pee after a game. He couldn't pee, so he'd drink some beer. And smoke the fat. So changed days, but very cool. Very, not just cool for that, but just cool for being who they were and being.
I think football's a bit sterile now. There's no characters. There's no personality. Like even going to the games these days, it's sections of fans have to generate the atmosphere. So I think, like when I was watching Celtic back in the day in the jungle, there was nobody in the corner generating that. You got the atmosphere from what was on the park, and people who were on the park were exciting.
I remember going to the jungle a couple of times. I didn't go to football matches that much. I was playing all the time, probably yourself. My dad took me to the jungle once, and it was mind blowing. Just because there was no seats and stuff, people were just running about.
And you would see men kind of with like one shoe after the game.
That's nuts. Hey Bob, so we're getting close to time there. So amazing having you in. I'm gonna have you in again because we could just talk for about loads of different stuff. But what I'm gonna ask you now is just kind of any advice you'd give to anybody. I was gonna say like to young people, young and old actually, because you went to the print studios, done your printing stuff later in life. Is there any advice on any books or any documentaries or anything you'd say to people to listen to?
I think everybody should kind of have like a wee side hustle, no matter what you're doing. If you're working in a bank or you wherever you're working, no factory in a bank or anything like that, try and have a wee side hustle, whether that's playing the guitar or teaching kids to play the guitar or kind of baking bread or something. Do something that's a little bit more kind of creative. Do things that are out your comfort zone. Because you never know where that path will kind of take you. You're kind of you're pulling on like the thread in a ball of string, and you just don't know what's going to kind of unravel. Books and things like that, I'm not much a reader. I kind of like to collect things and look at pictures and things like that. That kind of sticks in my head. But probably over the last, business-wise and things like that, I read a book, Marty Neumeyer, on marketing, and it was called Zag, and it was like, if everybody's kind of going this way, you go that way, and that's kind of always stuck with me. If everybody's zigging, you zag.
Zig and zag.
I like that.
That's breakfast morning TV flashback as well.
Flashback to the 90s or something, innit?
Zig and zag, go the opposite direction. I like that.
Stick to your instinct, really. If you've got a certain style and you know it's cool for you, or it works for you, then try not to second guess yourself. Try and kind of stick with it, because it might take a bit of time, but the more you do it, the better you get.
Amazing. Thank you, Bob.
Magic.